okay? There's a lot of people out there that said, hey, I'm gonna try this. I think I can sell cars. It's not that. I love cars, right? I love cars, I love people, so I should be able to sell cars. And what you find out is it's not that easy, okay? There's a lot of processes involved it takes for you guys to come and move forward and be successful in this business. So those of you that make the cut, you're gonna find that out very quickly, okay? It's not as easy as you think. However, the great news is, for me and Calvin especially, okay, it's not rocket science. Thank God, because we wouldn't have made it, right? So it's not rocket science. If you stick to the process, I promise you this. This is what I tell all my recruits. If you stick to the processes, I promise you, you will not fail. Promise you that, okay? The problem is, everybody wants to freelance it. Everybody wants to take shortcuts, okay? And you cannot do that. You're cheating yourself, you're cheating your customer, and you're cheating the dealership. You cannot do that, all right? So, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, right? Number one reason for failure in the world is what?
Not trying.
Why? Why don't people try? Fear. Fear rules you, okay? It can either motivate you or it can make you miss that shot. You know who said this? Sports figure.
Andy Oakley.
Who?
Andy Oakley.
He made a few shots in his life, right?
Sheets.
Wayne Gretzky made a few shots in his life. And listen, here's the deal. If he had not taken a lot of those shots, he wouldn't be where he's at today, okay? In the Hall of Fame, where he deserves to be. The question is, are you going to be in the Hall of Fame? Are you going to be in the Automobile Hall of Fame, right? And let's face it, the Automobile Hall of Fame to you is going to make you a lot of money. And that's the great thing about the auto industry, is that there's so much income potential. How does one person, we talked about this, right? We talked about drive, we talked about mindset. How does one guy or gal sit in a cubicle, the same dealership, same inventory, right? Same advertising, same amount of internet leads, make $42,000, and how does the person right next door make $100,000? How does that happen?
Drive and determination.
Drive and determination, right? Processes. Listen. If you guys are you guys familiar with Gonzalez? I can't remember his first name. Gonzalez. He's a tight end for Atlanta.
Tony Gonzalez.
Tony Gonzalez. Thank you, Tony. Right. So I was just listening to him yesterday. He's been in the league for 17 years. Okay. Absolutely, just a great football player. And he's still good enough. He's still the best tight end in the league, but he's retiring after this year, right? So it's kind of crazy. They're like, why are you retiring? He goes, I have no more left. I have no more to give. He's like, I literally have to go, at this point in time in my career, I have to go after the game, I have to hit the weight room. After practice, I have to hit the weight room just to keep up with the 23-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? He goes, I just can't do it anymore. I have to work harder now than I've ever had to work just to maintain it. I'm telling you guys, majority of people in their lives would not do that. They don't even do that at 23. Let alone, 37 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But that's why the guy's going into the Hall of Fame. That's why he's one of the best. That's why he's the best tight end ever in the history of the NFL, right? Listen, sales are no different for you. You have to bring your A game, right? And some of you are going to have to work harder than others. Some of you are going to be more of a natural salesperson. Some of you aren't going to be as natural. Some of you are going to be better closers, right? And some of you aren't. So if you're not as good a closer, what do you got to do? You got one of two choices, right? You get better at closing, right? Or you better see more people. You better be creative on getting the amount of people in front of you to get that number that you need to hit every day, right? So, a little bit about me, and then I'll have Calvin go into him. We're not going to go into a long spiel, but just so you guys know a little bit about us. I went to Goshen High School, played basketball there, track. I did a few sports. But then I went to Saginaw Valley State University up in Saginaw, Michigan, and went on a full ride basketball scholarship there. And I went there for 3 years, and I transferred to a little Christian college down in Grace College down in Winona Lake, Indiana, and ended up graduating there with a business degree. And so I get out, and I'm working at a little Mexican restaurant. I was a bartender, I was a waiter, I did all that stuff, right? and was trying to play pro ball over in Europe at that point. And it just came a point in time, it just wasn't working out, so I said, okay, I gotta make a decision, I wanna do something in life, right? So I wanted to get into the orthopedic field, so Biomet, Zimmer, Depew, they're down there in Warsaw area. So that was my passion, that's what I wanted to do. So I pursued that, and they said, you need sales experience. They kept saying, you need sales experience. So a buddy of mine was in the auto industry. He goes, well, you buy cars and you drive them, and you drive them for like 3 or 4 months, you sell them, and that's what I did. And I'd try and make $300-400 on them and drive them for 6 months. It's like, it's a great deal, right? So that's what I did. And I got into the auto industry back in '95. I was in it for almost 20 years. So I started out selling cars. So I sold cars for 3 years. I did finance for about 10. And then I was a used car manager, new car manager, general sales manager of 3 stores. And so that's kind of my brief history in the car business. Here's the deal, okay? I wish it was all hunky-dory and it was great and fine and fantastic, but here's the problem. When I first got in the auto industry, like I told you, my passion was in orthopedics, right? So I didn't put my heart in the auto industry for my first 3 years. So I remember I'm sitting in my office one day and I'm doing my resume on company time. Good job, right? So I'm doing my resume on company time, getting it ready, and so I push print, and then here comes the general manager of my store, right? He comes walking in my office, and here comes the paper, the resume. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what is it? So he goes, how you doing? I go, I'm doing fantastic. He goes, really? He goes, what are you doing? I said, working. He goes, really? And so it's like still coming out of it. It's like 2 pages. It's still coming out. And he pulls out his paper and he looks at it. He goes, huh? He goes, must be looking for a job. I go, yeah, kind of, you know. So he goes, hey, I wish you the best of luck. He walked out of the office. That's all he said. Wish you the best of luck. Walked out of the office. I go, I am so fired, man. I'm like, I am so fired. And I actually got promoted, believe it or not, okay? But here's the deal. From that day forward, okay, I said to myself, if I'm going to do this, I got to do it to the best of my ability, and I got to go as hard as I can. Because here I'm putting in 60 hours, and I'm making like 35 grand. It just didn't make sense, you know? But the day that I committed myself, I said, hey, listen, I'm in. I doubled my income that next year, okay? And then 2 years later, I doubled it again. Do you think it was because of I had better talent later than I did earlier? It had nothing to do with it. It was drive, it was mindset, right? I'm sitting there thinking about the next best job when I had it right in front of me. And then when I made that commitment, I was in, right? And then I made a significant amount of money, and then you make that money, and I'm telling you, you get a taste of it. That's your drive, you know? That's why people stay in the car business, because there's such great income potential, like immediately. It could be immediate. Some of you, if you start today, okay, could immediately make $100,000 in 1 year. It's possible. Is it likely? Probably not. But is it possible? It is definitely possible. If you come in with that right mindset and that right mind to drive, no doubt about it. Okay? So that gives you a little bit of a history about me. Calvin? This is Calvin.
Well, I'm sure I talked to most of you guys during the interview process. Maybe I missed one of you, maybe 2 of you. I know John, I didn't talk to you just over the phone. So I'll give you a little bit of brief history about myself. I got into business in 2005, and actually he made a horrible mistake of hiring me.
I did. Horrible mistake.
And just like Michael, I wasn't committed in my first 6 months in the business. I was kind of like, nah, I kind of need my steady Eddie check. You know, I need my hourly job. So about 6 months into it, I went to Mike and I said, hey, Mike, and my other manager at the time, I made a decision to quit. So I tried to talk me into staying, but at that point, I already made my decision in my mind that I'm going to leave. And actually, Mike was the one that actually printed my year to date, and I was probably a little bit above average, and didn't even work hard. But I left, and about 4 months later, something stuck in my head. The day when I left, Mike told me something, a very short sentence, said, "The strong will always survive." And I just couldn't leave it myself. I said, you know, I wasn't strong, I didn't survive. So I went back, probably 4 months later, and within 6 months, I dominated the dealership. And up until the day I decided to step out of the sales department, I had a great success in sales. It became an addiction. And I'll tell this, I've seen it every day, and it doesn't work. The hope system does not work. It's been proven. If you go to work and hope you're going to sell a car, probably you're not going to sell a car. You got to go to work every morning with the right attitude. You got to get on the phone, get people in here. You got to do something for this dealership. Don spends thousands and thousands of dollars on a monthly basis just to bring people in. Yes, there's gonna be a few of you trying to work all those people that come in, but you gotta do something on your own. If you sold a customer, you guys gotta stay, be friends with the customer. He's not just your customer when you buy his car, he's your customer's for life. He has friends, he has family, he has coworkers. You will be amazed how you can be in the top of the pyramid from day one in the car business. And we all wanna start there, don't we? You know where the pyramid schemes, when you start in the bottom and you don't make any money, you start at the top here. So it's how you build it and how you do it. It's the way you start, that's probably the way you're gonna finish in car business. So set your mind the right way, follow the processes. I do know this dealership is very, very process oriented, which is a good thing, guys, I'm telling you. I started at a dealership that wasn't process oriented, and maybe that's why he made me go in a different direction after 6 months. But I came back in and I followed the processes that, even they weren't so required, I did put them in place and it worked out very well for me. So, and Mike knows my history in the car business very well, and I'm grateful for the auto industry. So I wish you guys the best of luck, and half of you probably are gonna buy in a business and half of you are not. The half that is not gonna buy, two things is gonna happen. You're gonna quit or get fired. So give it 100%. If you do it for 2 years, give it 100%. If you do it for 10 years, give it 100%. So, and that's it.
Let's do this. Let's go around real quick and start over here, right? And then all I want you to do is introduce yourself, what you're doing or what you were doing, where you're from, and why you're here.
Name's Robert Tarp. I live in Michigan City, Indiana. My background is outside sales. I sold credit card processing and home security systems. I've been in outside sales for about the last 12 years. Why I'm here is, it's excellent opportunity, like you said. I've had friends that make an excellent living in the car business, and I want to continue my career in sales. I just, I don't want to do outside sales any longer. I'd rather, do something like this. So I'm excited.
Awesome.
My name's Scott Snyder, live in Coloma. Been in the medical diagnostics, OEM fluid handling business for 30-some years. Recently found myself free and unattached, and looking at alternatives to being on the road 75% of the time. And that's why I'm here.
Awesome. Thanks.
I'm Christy Franklin. I'm originally from Niles. I live in Coloma. I just moved back to Michigan in June, and getting back into the workforce. I recently found myself unattached.
Not in a good way, right?
No. My background, I worked for the Department of Transportation.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm Antoine C. Taylor, Senior, and right now currently switching jobs. I'm currently in customer service at Whirlpool. We have a contract, Jones Lang LaSalle, who I work for. Well, I did work for. And I just wanted to do something different. I'm getting a little older and I've been doing a lot of things, and I wanted to try something different, and I think this would be it for me. I'm pretty go-getter, like to have a challenge. So
Be careful what you ask for. You just
I love it. Bring it on. Bring it on. I love sports. I'm a basketball, football fan, so you gotta be on it.
Well, then you could teach me. I know nothing about sports.
I can teach you, a whole lot.
Huh?
Yeah, I coach in the community also. So right here in Benton Harbor, I live right on Napier.
awesome. Great. Awesome. Glad to have you. Rebecca?
I'm Rebecca Asher. I live in Sodus. Currently, I am going to Siena Heights University for my bachelor's degree. The last 13 years have been logistics operations, military, civilian, contracting, local companies in the area. I have decided that logistics isn't really what I want to do. I don't like to sit around and obviously be behind a desk and be behind the scenes. I want to be out and meeting new people and doing other things. So I figured this would be a good opportunity for that. So that's why I'm here.
Awesome. You know I love Siena Heights.
Why is that?
because it was a guaranteed victory on our schedule. That was a stat game.
That hurt.
Sorry, I know.
That hurt my heart.
My name is Jeremy Teely. I'm originally from Coloma, went to school in Tennessee, and now I live with my wife and 4 children in Stevensville. And I'm a sales manager for the Brilliant Finish right now. And the reason why I'm here is I'm looking for another opportunity to, in a sense, kind of build my own business with uncapped income potential. That's the reason why I'm here.
Awesome. Thanks for coming.
My name is Michael Kronk. I've got 0 sales experience, unlike a fair majority of the rest of you fine folks. I've done work in corrections, computers, valet, a lot of work with people, hoping to be able to turn that into, well, income. So that's why I'm here.
Cool.
My name's Bill Brewer. I'm a local retired firefighter. I live in Three Oaks, Michigan. Lately, since I did 2 tours in Iraq, when I come back from there, lately I've been driving a truck for a local vineyard delivering grapes and hops, which is pretty interesting, but like we said, the harvest season's just about over.
Sure.
So I'm kind of looking for this opportunity, I think, suit me real nice.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm Charlie Cormanning from St. Joe. My background's in healthcare, sales, and marketing. Have just, in the last 3 years, been chasing a lot of business over in the Chicago area. I have a high school, I still have a freshman in high school, so what I'm looking for is something a little bit more secure, less dependent on the environment that I deal with from their marketing budgets, and be a little bit more local. So that's what I'm here for.
You gotta tell them a little bit about your crazy invention, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, that's exciting.
Get 'em
I'm sorry.
excited.
It gets me excited.
I've got a very varied background. I've done some, I created a product as a hobby
Cool being humble. Go ahead.
15
Yeah.
years ago.
There you go.
Did it on the side. It's a little it's a tchotchke. It's a little capsule that looks like a sports ball capsule. It could be a football or baseball or race car wheel. It's got a poncho inside called poncho balls. And I created that, and we sold 1 million of those things.
That's cool.
It was a side business, but I did get knocked off. 2 different manufacturers copied me, and that killed our business, and it wasn't a survivable business. Plus, the economy tanked in the mid-90s, so I've been toying with getting back into a different business of my own, more technology-based. But in this environment, business is difficult with new items, and it takes a lot of capital to do that. And I've made a lot of money, but I've also lost a lot of money. So these guys were nice enough to talk to me, so here I am, and I think I could help.
Awesome. Good to have you.
Yeah, my name is John Silva, from Edwardsburg, Michigan. I was the last 2 years in catering event manager, selling contracts for weddings. Just here to look to advance my career in professional sales. I got a lot to offer, a 4-year degree, and very aggressive.
Hi, my name is Cesar Garcia. I'm from Monterrey, Mexico. I'm an attorney in law. I focus in real estate. I'm a real estate broker. I like the sales, not to be in court, stuff. I like to do negotiation, the contracts and clause. And glad to be here. I want to learn a lot here. I guess it's a good opportunity for me, for us.
Awesome. You have my heart a little bit because when I do personality tests, my #1 thing I'm supposed to be doing is an attorney. Okay, which I would love to do. I just don't want to go to school. So, hey, 5 years was enough for me. I was out, done, and good. So, so as you can see, there's a lot of different personalities here. There's a lot of different backgrounds. There's some sales experience, no sales experience, a lot of sales experience. It doesn't matter. I mean, there's a reason you're sitting here today, okay? And the reason the reason you're sitting here is because we saw something inside of you that we felt, with your background, your personality, your ability to maybe sell, is why you're sitting here. Okay, so what I'd like to do is we're going to go over, like I told you, we're going to go over a brief history of the car business. Okay, and now I want to get into the statistics behind it. And by the end of this session today, what I really want you to I think what you're going to be able to grasp is, what this business is about. Okay, and number one, like I told you, number one, can I do it? And number two, do I want to do it? And so it's great. This is a great opportunity for you guys to kind of just, not make that final decision until after this. And at the end of the session, listen, at the end of the session, if you say, hey, I just don't think this is for me, it's okay. It's no big deal. Okay? Car business isn't for everybody. But I think you're going to find out after the session that there's a great opportunity here for you. Okay? And hopefully you can wrap your arms around the opportunity and say, I want to move forward with this. I'm excited about it, or I want to move out and do something different. So there's nothing worse. We'd rather you make that decision now than 90 days into the deal. Okay? Here's what I need you to do, though. The people that are chosen, okay, by the dealership, you need to give it a minimum of 6 months. A minimum. You can't go into this thinking in 30 days you can determine whether or not you want to make this a career path or not. Okay? This is why we hold this orientation. We want to help you make that right decision for you, for the dealership, okay, to create that good relationship and a long-term relationship. Listen, some recruiting companies, they want you to rotate them, right? Because if you rotate them, guess what happens? I get to come back. But here's the deal. I want to move on. I want to move on. I want Don to say, hey, listen, you guys did such a great job for me. I want you to, I know somebody, go help them. And then it just keeps going. And that's exactly what we've been very fortunate. That's what we've been able to do for the past 8 months, has been able to just move from dealership to dealership, okay? So that's the mindset I want you to go into this opportunity with. This is not a short-term 30-day, I don't know, I'm in, out. Give yourself time. It's going to take time for you guys to build that, okay? So let's talk a little bit, any questions at all at this point? All right, let's talk a little bit about the auto industry. What happened in 2008?
Bad.
Global recession.
Global recession. Let's narrow it down to the auto industry. What happened in the auto industry in 2008?
Bankruptcies.
Bankruptcies, right? So we had GM, we had Chrysler, right? So we had bankruptcies going on. So I've been in this for 18 years, and it was like the worst bottom out time I've ever seen in the auto industry. I mean, let's face it, GM, there's people that had GM products. It's like, what am I going to do? I mean, am I going to be able to even service my vehicle? I have a GM product. Am I going to be able to service it? I mean, it was like nobody knew what was going on. And all of a sudden, you had this big conglomerate, and everybody's like, they're like going to be wiped off the face of the earth, and it just couldn't happen, right? And that's why the government stepped in. They had to, because there's too many jobs being touched out that finger off outside of the auto industry. So they had to step in, right? So GM, right? GM lost 50% of their dealerships. How is that a benefit to you?
Less competition.
Less competition, right? Less bad competition. Because let's face it, if you're in survival mode, which a lot of these dealerships were, if you're in survival mode, how do you advertise? What's your theme of your advertising? Discount it, right? Yeah. Listen, they give everything away, and when they give everything away, what happens to you?
You get more.
So does your commissions. They go away, right? Just like I told Calvin in his situation. Listen, the strong survived. We weeded out the weak. That's good. It made the auto industry get better. Okay, that's a great thing, right? So in Chrysler, right, the dealership you're at right now. Hey, they were in trouble. They were going the wrong direction. But I'm telling you, if you guys have not gotten into Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, Jeep product lately, I'm telling you, they are absolutely, they learned. Okay? You cannot put out bad product. It just doesn't exist. And I'm telling you, the great news about the auto industry, this is what the auto industry learned. People, if you put out bad product, guess what? They're going to go across the ocean and buy it. That's what we learned. You know, GM, Chrysler, they all got too big for their britches, thought, hey, people are just going to come and buy our product. No, they aren't. If you sell us bad product, we're not going to buy it. Right? So it made the manufacturers get better at what we do. Okay? Now all of a sudden, this crisis happened, right? It made us be better at what we do. We have to. Our competition's better. There's really not a bad product out there right now. Just to let you know. So you have to know your product, number one, and you obviously have to know their product in order to compare the two, right? To help yourself put a deal together. You have to bring it to the table every day. You have to be better than that guy down the street. And good for you is there's a lot of average competition out there. Okay? We're not here to recruit average. We don't want any of you to be average. We want all of you to be above average, okay? So, 2011, Ford Motor Company, they recorded the second most profitable year in their 109-year history. I mean, think about it. There's been a lot of great years in the auto industry, right? This is how good the auto industry is, and this is how important the auto industry, automobiles are to people. How can you go from 2008, the bottom falling out, okay, to just short 3 years later that Ford Motor Company records their second largest profit in 3 years after the bottom fell out? That's pretty amazing, isn't it? 70s, 80s, is a cakewalk. You really didn't have to be that good in the auto industry to succeed and make money. You really didn't. It's different nowadays, right? The internet is actually, everybody says, well, the internet's hurt. It's helped. It educates people. When they come into your dealership, they're educated already, right? You just need to kind of do the final touches and put it together and give them the reason to buy from you and not the person down the street, right? Which is what the people that are chosen are training. That's what we're going to talk about. Differentiate yourself from everybody else, okay? Don't blend in. Who do you think as of 2011, who do you think the fastest growing manufacturer was? If you had to guess.
Since when?
In 2011, who do you think the fastest growing manufacturer was?
Hyundai.
Who?
Hyundai.
Close.
Kia?
Kia. Right? Listen. Kia. You couldn't even finance one 6 years ago, right? Secondary lenders said, listen, we're not going to finance it. You know why? It won't last the term. Right? It's not going to last the term alone. Right? So you got, another thing is, how does a manufacturer go from the bottom, where you can't even finance one, they won't even let you finance it, to now being the fastest growing manufacturer in the world? Right? I think it has a lot to do with drive and mindset. Doesn't matter what you're in. Doesn't matter if you're in the auto industry. Doesn't matter if you're in the medical field. Doesn't matter if you're customer service for Whirlpool. It's drive, it's mindset, right? Doesn't matter. So let's talk about new vehicle sales. So new vehicle sales. Okay, let's talk about 2011. How many cars do you think, new cars, across the country, how many cars do you think were sold in 2011? There's no stupid answers. There's wrong ones, but there's no stupid answers.
10 million.
10 million?
25%.
Huh?
25%.
No, the number, the amount. Any other guesses in 10 million?
15 to 20 maybe?
15 and 20? Okay. I like the range.
Leave it open.
Leave it open? Right? So 12.7 million new cars were sold in America in 2011. Right? 2012 saw about a 10% increase, which puts us at what? 13.9? And they're expected us to have about another 10% increase, right, this year, which puts us where?
15.3.
Where does it put us? 7.3? Yeah, 15.3, right? Right, so 15.3 million. 2007, okay, 2007 was pre-BK. How many cars do you think that we sold in 2007? Pre-BK.
16?
Close. $16.2